Uppercut, uppercut, uppercut. That is the theme of the weekend. My goodness, what an exciting rookie face-off tournament. We've got all the recap and more on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan. I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey. But here on Locked On Ducks, all we talk about is the Anaheim Ducks every day. And it was an exciting weekend this last little couple of days. In September, we're getting closer and closer to the official NHL puck drop. I am getting so excited. But last weekend was the Golden State Rookie Face-Off Tournament, and it was a show. The Ducks, they showed up. Did they play? Not well, but they were there. They made themselves known. Their presence was definitely known. But a big, big shout out to all of the Southern California hockey fans. They are the ones who showed up. You guys were all over that rink. 5 Point Arena was rocking. So to see all three games completely full of fans, whether they were Ducks fans, Sharks fans, Kings fans, just hockey fans showing up on a Friday night, Sunday afternoon, Saturday afternoon in sunny Southern California is amazing to see. And the place was a rockin'. There were so many people that it was loud. It was a great, great time. And it was really cool. There's a lot of Ducks faces around, whether alumni, staff, current players, a lot of people kind of just mingling in the crowd from even the Kings, historical Kings players were there. There was Sharks employees and scouts and players. Like, it was just a mix of a ton of hockey people in the 5 Point Arena. So that was very exciting. But I do want to get over and go over what I saw out of the Ducks rookies in this last weekend. But first off, before we get into reviewing plays, whether good or bad, there was a player that we have to talk about, that I have to talk about, and this player made the biggest impact on social media and on the ice, and that was the weekend of Konnor Smith. My goodness, what a player. This guy showed up, and he showed up to show off, and he let everyone know that he is not one to mess around. What an absolute beast he is out there. Just a massive, massive player. He comes in at, let's see here, 6'6", 216 pounds, born in 2004, so 21 years of age. 20 as of now because it's born in November. Played for Brampton, Owen Sound, and San Diego last year. Definitely love Konnor Smith's game. I believe he's now, well, he was 5 for 5 before the Kings game. So now I'm going with he's 6 for 6 in the rookie face-off fighting column. So not sure if that's a statistic that is kept in the league official books, but 6 for 6 for fights in this rookie face-off tournament that's been happening for the last couple of years. Not a bad accolade to take home. This guy was not afraid to step up to the bell. I actually have some video of what went down if you did miss it. This guy completely broke the internet with social media, and this was the first fight that occurred for him, right? So, massive hit laid by Konnor Smith. And then we've got Carson Wetch, number 62 from San Jose. He's 6 foot even. He's 190 pounds, a right-hand shot. He comes in and challenges Smith. And let's get to that here. You see them square off across the ice there. And Konnor Smith kind of grabs in, reaches, and then just starts loading uppercut into Carson Wetch. Complete domination, just chucking bombs. Uppercut, uppercut, uppercut was the official call during the game. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. Getting 5-point scrum right there. I mean, the image speaks for itself. If you're listening, I highly recommend checking out the YouTube. But for the audio, he just starts unloading uppercuts. Right hand just bombs up, 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 right into the face of Konnor Wetch. So good on Carson Wetch. Good on Carson Wetch to stand up for his teammate, but completely outmatched by Konnor Smith. And that was just on Friday. There was another fight that Konnor Smith got into on the first game on Friday, but I did not get some video of that. It was kind of a nothing scrum. By that point, that first game was completely out of hand. There was multiple scrums going on. I believe there was like 4 or 5 different fights throughout the entire game. There was multiple penalties by the Ducks. We'll get into that a little bit more on just the overall play style later. But in regards to Konnor Smith, he stepped up for every single physical battle there was. Any challenge that he had, he was in there. He was causing chaos, and he was actually playing really well defensively. And moving into Sunday's game, he continues the physical play, making some big hits. He's taking guys out, causing a ruckus, and then he ends up actually getting in another fight on Sunday. And this one goes pretty much the same as Saturday or Friday's bout, a little bit different in how quickly he gets the hits in, but it's pretty awesome little up the face off. Right now, I'm ISO camming Stain Solberg. I was going to try to do a clip of him. So he's right now supporting. He goes to back, and all of a sudden I see a glove, and I notice, oh, there's a scrum about to happen. And this is Nate Corbett, number 63 on the Kings, 6'2", 180 pounds. They reach in, they're kind of stuck on each other. They try to get some swings with it. Konnor Smith gets the arm loose. He's throwing, and then good on Corbett getting a few. But Smith just keeps unloading. Coming pops up. He's throwing bombs, bomb, bomb. And it's over. Refs get involved. Konnor Smith reaches over, gives him a pat on the head, and then goes to the box. Gives him a point. Apparently these guys I don't know what the heck just happened there. Hit the wrong button. Meant to remove the video. I removed myself. But he gets just the 5-point arena again, gets rocking. And that was a good bout between the two. I saw on social media afterwards, they got together, took pictures with their dads who were in the arena to watch the game. So that's just a great hockey moment to see two guys go toe-to-toe, big, heavy bombs, and then they're taking pictures in the lobby afterwards with their fathers. That is, if that doesn't spell hockey, I don't know what does. But overall, really impressed with Konnor Smith and the way that he played. I think he's going to be a phenomenal piece for the San Diego Gulls to start things off. Unfortunately, he is a defenseman, and he is if I'm not mistaken, a left shot defenseman. Oh, yep. Look at that. Left shot defenseman. And the Ducks have a plethora of left shot defensemen. I don't think they really need a D-man coming up and being the enforcer, but it would be nice to get him in there replacing Ross Johnston. At least this guy knows how to throw some bombs and get engaged. And he did play pretty well defensively as well. One little turnover kind of led to a goal against the Kings. But overall, when he was out there, he was shutting dudes down. Seems like he was playing with Solberg a bit during this tournament. I thought they matched up pretty well together with Solberg's ability to play a strong, reliable defense and kind of get engaged with the offense. And then Konnor Smith's ability to back check. A couple of foot races videos that I had, but it's just too much to get into right now with what I want to get into in this episode. But overall, great performance by Konnor Smith. Absolute standout player of the weekend. Not really on the score sheet, but definitely in the impression sheet. But what about players like Beckett, Sennecke, and Yegor Sidorov? How did he do? How did Beckett, Sennecke do? What happened with them? Let's look into that next. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't miss offer. Right now, new customers can get just $5 or bet $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. With FanDuel, you can get engaged with every single sport that's going on right now: basketball, NHL, NFL, and we've got baseball, but the NFL is kicking off on FanDuel, no pun intended. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. So Beckett, Sennecke, Yegor Sidorov, and Tim Washe, that was the top line for the rookie face-off for the Anaheim Ducks. And they were definitely the top line out of all of the forward groups. I felt they were the most noticeable. They were the most present. They were causing the most mayhem, getting good scoring chances. Honestly, one of the few, I think the only line to score. I'd have to go back and check my notes, but not a lot coming out of all the other lines offensively. But the theme of this week really seemed to be physicality. The physicality and speed of play is really what stood out with this team. A lot of quick back checking, quick transitional play, back entrance into the zone, kind of a dump and chase style, but also controlled when they had it. Uh, there was a whole mix of emotions for me when it came to some of the top guys. I felt like on Friday, you had Yegor Sidorov really setting the tone. He was the standout guy in the offensive category and even kind of defense from the forwards, but he was the most noticeable. A complete ball of energy out there on Friday, ripping through guys, back checking really well, getting engaged, battling against the boards, trying to make plays, trying to get things to happen. On Sunday, there was a little lack of that. Wasn't quite as engaged as Friday. Seemed a little bit more lackluster in his play off the puck and not really getting the full 9 yards out of his play, if you will. And then looking at Beckett, Sennecke, I felt like he had his moments where he was shining, looking sharp, making some good passing plays and kind of some heads up moments, good shots and everything like that. But there was a little bit of lack of motivation as well from him. It just didn't seem like he was fully engaged into this thing. And that's kind of how it felt like when he was at dev camp. And I'm intrigued how it's going to translate into training camp. If he's already kind of coming in with this not interested mentality for the rookie stuff, is he going to just all of a sudden kick into high gear for training camp? It's hard to gauge that and think that it will just all of a sudden he's going to be able to turn this next level on. But it just didn't seem like he was fully engaged in this weekend. And then looking at the chances he did take and just kind of the way he was skating around, I don't think we saw the best out of Beckett, Sennecke. Granted, it is just a rookie tournament. It is just kind of an exhibition before exhibition. So there's not a lot of pride, I guess, or passion really to be behind it, but also it is a little concerning that they weren't kind of going that extra mile. But what they were doing was the best out of the rest of the rookie team. So it's hard to fault them, but also I felt like there was just a next step that they weren't going to that they could have. And let's take a look at some of the videos of kind of how just what happened this weekend. So right here, this is the first power play goal that they got in the weekend. Little face-offs. So we've got Sennecke, Sidorov, and Washe out as the forwards. And then we've got Solberg quarterbacking here. Nice little one-time attempt by Sidorov there. Solberg kind of trying to shake it off. Quarterbacking the puck here. And a shot through, and then Washe gets the tip. That was actually Solberg that was at the top there quarterbacking. And yeah, pretty good power play goal. Good puck movement. Wasn't too hasty or anything crazy. There wasn't a lot of trickiness to it. Basic, simple. Read the play, find the seam, get the puck through, get a man in front of the net. And Tim Washe is definitely a guy to get in front of the net. So good effort right there. And then kind of looking at some of the individual plays here, sort of did some ISO cams on some of the guys here. Here's a little quick play by Beckett. Sennecke to Tim Washe. The Tim Washe just barely misses. Here's a little look at their forecheck. They both get on it. Sidorov right up in there. Washe gets in there. Sennecke battling against the boards, and then Sidorov is kind of being the high guy, trying to cover, through another shot. Unfortunately, it gets blocked and cleared out. So pretty decent forecheck by those three as well. Another look here. Guys are going to get engaged. This is against the Kings. Unfortunately, they run into each other, get it back around, and puck gets cleared out of the zone. But look how they quickly pick the puck up. They get back in, clear the zone. They're backing into this puck. Quick moves over. I do love that play. What a save by the LA Kings netminder. That was a beauty of a save. And that was Carter George. Honestly, Carter George was phenomenal that game. He played so well. He was literally playing out of his boots. It was he kept the Ducks down to that one goal. And the Ducks had their chances. They just weren't capitalizing. And then the times that they did have big chances, George was right there to shut them down. Another look here. Let's get that back here. So now, just a quick approach there by Solberg. You see, or by Sidorov, and he's just Sennecke back the net. Just getting into battles here. Just looking at Senneke's play. So he had his moments where he's really playing strong and kind of just sliding, admiring the play a little bit here. Probably could have been moving a little bit quicker. Right at the last minute of play.
You know he was thinking that. You know he was thinking that.
And then again, just kind of lackadaisical after that weird turnover. Just dropped the puck out. They had possession in the offensive zone. Now they have to reset after a lackadaisical pass, and just kind of works his way back down to the bench. So not a big fan of that image right there. Another quick one here. The Sidorov here off the face-off after the Kings score a goal. You can see Sidorov just working down. He's supporting. Really supports the D well here and reading the play. Comes up high, tries to cover the point, and the shot then is off. And then we've got another look over here. Now, we've got Beckett Sennecke in the second, trying to get some pressure here. Works around, good, he's reading here, good support, back through the neutral zone. Tries to make a quick little pass, kind of moves through the neutral zone. Gets back where he's the high man here. Gets in, goes against the boards and then just kind of gets manhandled down, loses his balance. He's on the feet. Kings guys are just pushing him all over. He gets up, kind of softly gets down, takes it down as it was cleared out for an icing. So not a lot of pressure there. Another one here, real quick. This is Yegor Sidorov. He's back to him. Off the face off in the offensive high man. And as the face off comes off, he's gonna work right through, trying to get the tie up, and he comes back high to support, be that third man high. Just really reads the play well here. Comes down, tries to get through in the slot. Hits the puck off with his stick, brings it back around. Then he comes through, tries to get the tip quick through the middle. Moves his feet. Look how quickly he's getting engaged in the play. Getting through, trying to get the pucks off to his teammate. And look at this back check. Comes back, lifts the stick. Comes back through. He's going to come back. Unfortunately, a little miscommunication. Goes off his foot. And he's going to come down, be that support forward. Gets engaged in the battle. Gonna pop this puck out and get the breakout all on his own here. Comes up through, moves it up to Sennecke. Senneke's gonna pop it back to him, and he's gonna get through. Unfortunately, bobbles it through, but still, it's pretty much all the way into the offensive zone, and it goes for a change. That entire shift was just Yegor Sidorov causing a absolute mayhem and ruckus out there, playing strong. I thought he was reading the puck very well, kept on his high horse. And that's what we saw a lot of on Friday. That was a pretty rare sighting on Sunday. That was one of the better shifts that he did have. And then this last one here. Let's get that rewound for you. This is there in the third. Puck's going to get knocked down. We're going to have these guys are going to wheel it out. Watch how quickly they enter the zone here. I like this entry. Sidorov gets in, battling two players. George quick on it, gets the battle up. Ducks recover on the half wall, walking the point. Got Silver. He's going to get it down low, try to push it down. Sidorov behind the net. Michigan attempt, unfortunately doesn't get it through. He gets back through, and then the Ducks quickly regather and keep that puck in, keep the pressure up. Again, a lot of good offensive chances. They kept attacking and engaging. As soon as the puck was turned over, they got to it quick, got into the zone fairly quickly as well, but just weren't able to get past Curtis George, who, again, absolute best player Carter George, best player for the LA Kings. That was the biggest difference in that game and why the Ducks did not have the score that they should have had by the end of that game. So what does that mean going into training camp? Should the fans be worried about where the Ducks are at? We'll get into that right after this. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. With Indeed, whether you're needing a paper editor or a video editor or an audio editor, make sure you get in front of the proper editor with Indeed sponsored ads. Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed is all you need. Although the Ducks rookies didn't have success at the rookie faceoff, this isn't the time to panic yet. Okay, remember, the main coaching staff was out in the crowd. They weren't even behind the bench. They were up above. I had a video on my Twitter or X or whatever we still call that thing of Quinville up in the stands with Pat Verbeek. all the head coaches up and around the top there of 5 Point Arena. So there wasn't a major concern on my part of the Ducks not performing as well as they should have. Excuse me one second. So with that, I think there's a lot to look forward to. Honestly, with the training camp and with looking at this rookie face-off, I see where the spirit of the team was and just kind of the dynamic of how they were playing. They were playing fast, they were playing physical, and they were making sure it was simple hockey. There wasn't a lot of crazy trying to, other than that Sidorov, Michigan, there wasn't a lot of crazy trick plays. Guys just trying to make quick, fast, smart hockey plays was happening. And honestly, just a hot goaltender for both teams. I felt like it's hard to fault the Ducks and their goaltending as in Sunday's game. Thomas Suchenek, he just came back. He's been injured. This was his first time playing competitively in months, and he did fairly well. McIver came in the third period. I felt like the Ducks held them down. There wasn't much scoring from either side, but they held their own. They kept bringing the pressure. It was there. It just wasn't going in. And I know it's a little concerning when you look at the Ducks in the past, but this is also just the rookies. This is just the rookie tournament. This isn't the main coaching staff behind the bench. This isn't the main product that we're going to be getting. This is a lot of these guys literally just got drafted, and it's their first time playing in this type of competitive environment wearing their affiliated team's jerseys. So it's hard to take any kind of, major takeaway from a rookie tournament like this. But in regards to the rookies themselves and whether or not they will make the NHL roster, I'm definitely a little more hesitant than I was going into this weekend. Looking at how some of these guys played, especially Beckett, Sennecke, Sidorov, Washe. Washe I thought was pretty solid as a center. He got a couple of goals this weekend, looked really solid out there, especially in the forecheck and defensively. But Beckett, Sennecke had a lot of turnovers. There was a lot of giveaways that he had. We saw Will Francis with a few giveaways and honestly led to a bunch of the chances against the Sharks. So there wasn't really anyone that took over this tournament. There wasn't a standout player that came in and just engaged right away. And that is a little concerning. And there wasn't a major all-star or anything of this weekend. It was kind of a committee weekend for the team. I think these guys will definitely have their work cut out for them in actual training camp. And that's really where it's going to matter. And I think the attention really needs to be put on the preseason now. And looking at where the attempts of how this rookie team came together, and you got to remember, these guys literally had like 2 practices and then Friday's game, and then I think maybe another practice and then Sunday's game. So a couple of practices together. You got guys coming from all different systems and different teams coming together, learning something real quick, and then engaging it and applying it into a game. Not a lot to be expected there. But once they come into training camp and the real work starts beginning, the workouts, the skating, the passing, and then having actual preseason games, I think that's going to show us the true nature of where a lot of these younger rookie guys are going to be amongst the rest of the roster. It's fun to see that the team is really excited to get back. Saw a ton of the regular Ducks players in the crowd. Saw Lukas Dostal walking around. Saw Chris Kreider at the rink. Ryan Strome. We've got Cutter Gauthier. Every single Duck has been spotted just walking around, supporting the rookies, doing some media day stuff, just being involved around the team. And it's exciting. The atmosphere is good. I'm telling you, there was a buzz around Gray Park Ice and 5 Point Arena. When I went there for the practice, you could just feel this sense of like, yes, like we're back. Like hockey's back. We've got a lot to look forward to. There's this air of refresh around the team, around the staff. I could just kind of feel it talking to staff members and talking to the people supporting the team in this tournament. There was just a lighter energy about them than there has been the last couple of years. And I think that everyone is on board to prove it and to really show like hockey is good in Southern California and specifically in Anaheim. It's getting great again. And we're in for some good stuff. We're in for a good show. I'm looking forward to training camp and looking at how the systems are going to be implemented, what things they're going to be focusing on, and just how this new team's going to be looking. Finally, we're getting to get our mouth where our whatever the saying is, put our money where our mouth is, and see what actually comes out of the new coaching staff, what's coming out of these players refreshed, looking at a new season after making a big jump, getting some good contracts. We're getting that much closer to training camp, though, and still no Mason McTavish signing. So potentially something comes down tomorrow, Wednesday. I don't know. Maybe Thursday, right before everything starts, but I'll be trying to keep track of that. You know, it's a crazy time right now as fall is upon us and we're about to get into this hockey season. So very excited. Do not take the 2 losses as a big indicator of anything right now. Take it with a grain of salt. Hope you got to enjoy some good hockey if you did get out there. If you watched it on Victory Plus, I hope you enjoyed that. If not, got you here. So I hope you enjoyed the clips and some of the breakdown and just kind of get a sense of where these guys are at. So make sure you go like and subscribe to the YouTube if you have not, and go check out the audio version as well. But thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast. There is no offseason, bringing you the daily league-wide stories that matter most with the local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. My goodness, as always, I'm Kyle Carr. Be good out there.